What's good, y'all? It's Drew here, back with another video. Alright, so today is the chapter 1002 review for One Piece, so I'm just gonna be reviewing that. So we're gonna get right into it. Obviously, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and comment down below what you thought about the chapter. In my last like two chapter reviews, I talked about how I was a little unsure on how good, well, I should say, like, I was a little unsure on how well I thought the worst generation would do. And they proved me wrong this chapter. I'm not gonna be lying. I'm not gonna lie to you. They hooping right now. The name of the chapter is called Emperors versus the New Generation. And the moment I heard that, I knew that something was going to happen. I knew something crazy was obviously going to happen. And basically, the chapter starts out with Kaido doing one of his, his wind attacks, which is, we have to eventually get to this conversation about what can Kaido's fruit really give him the ability to do, because he seems like he has all these elements. But Kaido uses an attack called Destructive Wind, and presses out basically just Kid and Law, but Law weaves it because Law has room. And basically, the attack destroys a lot of like Kid's metal, but Kid doesn't really pay it any mind because it seems like the metal's really disposable at this point, so it doesn't matter. But it starts out. What I'm saying is, it starts out crazy. Like Zoro basically deflects the slash in a way. Well, Zoro deflects the slash, and Luffy pull up right in front of Kaido like Luffy does normally, and pulls up a Gum Kong rifle, and that's tough because we saw Red Rock a couple chapters ago, maybe like two chapters ago now, and you know that Luffy has new techniques, right? Because you don't come and fight two Yonko without new techniques. But it's interesting that they're diversifying his Gear 4, portfolio, so to speak. So hits him with a Kong rifle, and Kid hits him with an attack called like Gibson, and it does okay, like an okay amount of damage. It's nothing too crazy. Law pulls up on him and basically talks about, oh, I don't know where you're. I've never really messed with dragons before, but I figure your heart's around somewhere here. It hits him with a gamma knife. Knowing how powerful gamma knife is and what it does, we knew that it would be a technique that Law would eventually use, but I didn't expect him to use it so early in the fight. I mean, then again, obviously they're fighting Yonko, so you can't really afford to just play around. But it still kind of surprised me a bit. He hits it with the gamma knife, and like I was talking about, I didn't see them beating one Yonko, but low key they kind of pressing him out. Like Kid Law hits him with the gamma knife, and Kaido. First of all, Kaido's like, I don't know if he's coughing out blood. I'm not gonna cap and say I do, but he says, "Oh, you damn upstarts, you were able to. How could you counter?" He said, "So you can counter my durability," and I'm like, "Bro, what?" So I mean, we obviously knew that, like I said earlier, that they would come with heat. They know how powerful Kaido is. I think besides Law, we know that Kid and Killer interact with Kaido. We obviously saw that Luffy did as well. So they know they need new techniques, or they needed, obviously crazy strategies to beat Kaido. But I didn't expect them like to be able to consistently, affect him, to injure him, because we saw Luffy basically hit him on the head. It hurt him. We saw Killer and Zoro. It didn't hurt him a lot, but it was enough for Kaido to say that was impressive. So that's all. That's a thing. And then Kaido remarks again that they are able to counter his durability. So that lends to the question of, people were talking about how can you beat Kaido and how can you hurt Kaido, but you can. It seems that Kaido's durability can be affected in other ways, which is what I think One Piece readers brought up about Kid, and even though Kid it doesn't have Ryo. Basically, what I'm saying is that even though it seems like only Luffy knows Ryo, Kid, Zoro, Law, and Killer, yeah, Kid, Zoro, Law, and Killer, all gonna have ways to injure Zoro, or all gonna have ways to injure Kaido in some way, shape, or form. While he's trying to recover from that, Killer, comes in, tries to blitz him, and he's talking about how all the things he's been through and everything, and he says that it looks like I can cut you from the inside. Like he's basically something like that. Like I can slice you from the inside. And I was honestly a little confused because I'm like, what does he mean the inside? And he hits it with a technique called Sonic Scythe. And the way it looks is basically like, you know how Kaido's a dragon, right? Killer's basically on the back of Kaido, and like blades basically, it's like, have you ever played like Sonic or watched Sonic the Hedgehog and how he goes into his spin, like his spin dash form, or the spin dash? it looks kind of like that, but the blades are intruding through. It looks like through Kaido's body. So they kind of hurt. Like if they're hurting him consistently, and this is like I feel like this is kind of crazy to me because I did not expect them to be able to do that anytime soon. I thought like their best attacks would be able to injure him, but they're getting through to him pretty consistently. So then Big Mom comes through in the clutch with a like an attack she basically just calls Indra. Which when I think of Indra, the only thing I can think of is Indra's arrow from Naruto. Like that's Sasuke. That was Sasuke's most powerful attack. It was just like it was basically a lightning attack. So Big Mom, I'm not gonna say saves, but Big Mom comes in clutch against Kaido. Like obviously last chapter, if you watch my chapter review, I thought that Kaido versus all four of them would be able to just hang with him, but it looks like they Loki can kind of press Kaido. So Big Mom comes in clutch with that. This chapter, Kaido's just throwing around compliments on the whole Worst Generation. So their stock, we going I guess it's like stock. So they're looking really good. And Kaido remarks that they're a lot stronger than he expected. And while he's talking, Luffy is not giving this man no time to breathe. Luffy hit him with a Rhino Schneider right in the mouth. And I mean, obviously Kaido's gonna eat that hoe because he's Kaido. So he eats it, and hits him with tries to hit him with I think it's a burst breath. And one thing that I'm peeping like reading when I'm peeping reading this chapter and the last chapter is that we know that Luffy and Zoro have chemistry, and obviously Killer and Kid probably have chemistry, but all five of them together, their chemistry is OD right now. Law teleports Zoro to where Luffy is because he's about to hit with a burst breath, and as we know from last chapter, Zoro got Firefox style, so Zoro cut that hoe easily. But Zoro, he so you know how everyone knows about Zoro and what a lot of Zoro fans think he's gonna do and cut Kaido's head. And I don't know if I think he's gonna cut Kaido's head. I think he is gonna get a scratch on him or a scar. But Zoro goes for the kill. He basically goes for a one sword style technique, and it's basically called Flying Dragon. It's immediately pretty obvious that this is not a normal attack, right? Because Big Mom's not shook for herself, but Big Mom's like, "Hey, yo, Kaido, you better dodge that joint." She remarks, that's not your average blade. And I think she, as well as Kaido, both know that that's probably Odin's blade, or at least a really, really high caliber blade. He slashes at Kaido, but he misses. So even though he misses, he does cut off like the horn of Onigashima. So knew that Enma was tough. So we're obviously seeing that as it is right now. And Kaido remarks that Odin's aura is coming from that blade. To which Big Mom's gonna say that you underestimated him. Which, all right, so when Chapter 1000, this is a tangent a little bit, but when Chapter 1000 hit, and people were saying Luffy was Yonko level and all that, all the overreactions, it was crazy. But this chapter, honestly, it's making me think that I I guess I'm not gonna say all the readers because I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like I underestimated how powerful Luffy and this Worst Generation, like this group of them, were. Because I knew Luffy was a lot stronger than before, but I didn't think he was this strong. Because this is Zoro. Zoro, we don't know what that cut could have done to Kaido, but the way Big Mom was talking about it and the way Kaido was kind of shook, it might have it might have scratched him more than we know. You know what I mean? Slash actually misses, and Big Mom hits the entire Worst Generation basically group with an attack called Heavenly Dominion, Shiva's Wrath. And Loki, Big Mom is just busting out all these nice techniques that are just, they're basically one-shotting people because they're knocking them out of the fight, like temporarily, obviously. And it hits pretty much everyone. And it's like a basically, she's just basically only using Zeus's power right now. So it decapitates, it basically knocks him out for a little bit, excluding Luffy. And obviously, Big Mom's like, "How did that joint not, kill you, or how are you not fried?" And Luffy's like, "I'm rubber." I mean, he's rubber. But now I don't know why Luffy always tells people he's rubber, but now that they know that Luffy's rubber, all right, we're gonna give you a burst breath. That's fine because we know rubber burns. And this panel made me take a double take because I didn't know that Luffy was at like flame resistant even a little bit. The burst breath hits Luffy full on, and Luffy does get hit from it, but like he kind of eats that hoe because he gets hit by it, and he like comes right back at Kaido, and Kaido's like, "Bro, how are you immune to fire either? Like, what you're capping right now?" And basically, he's like, "Is this a trick?" And Luffy's like, "Nah, it's guts." Which I'm like, what does that mean? So I'm a little confused on that. If anyone knows what's happening, I guess let me know. But obviously, Luffy has the best showing this chapter, but among the worst generation, in my opinion. Well, actually, I don't even know I could say that because what Zoro did to what Zoro was about to do to Kaido was looking kind of crazy. Even Killer, he had his technique on Kaido. But basically, in short, all the worst generations are looking really, really good. But Luffy comments, guts, right, and then hits it with a Gum Gum Kong Gatling, which is another Gear 4 technique I don't think we've seen. Because I think we've seen Kong Organ, but this is Kong Gatling. Like, is this different? Because the way it looks like a normal Gatling. Like if he was in Gear 2 or Gear 2 or Gear 3 or whatever. Kong Organ, his arms, it looks like his arms kind of multiply. So I don't know if that's like the same technique. It basically probably is. Like, that's not really crazy, I guess. Okay, so for this chapter, it's interesting to me because like looking at what happened, it's clear that the whole crew, the whole team is up another level. So we know that since they're fighting two Yonko, they're not gonna bust out their very very best moves like instantaneously. Like the battle just began, so that tells me that all the techniques that they used just now are not their best techniques. We figured that Law, because of his fruit and stuff, the way he fights, he doesn't even need to be able to like physically like cut through cut or whatever because he has his fruit, and we obviously saw with what he used, which is interesting because he used Gamma Knife, which we saw in Dressrosa was basically his strongest technique. So the fact that he busted it out so early, to me, it means that he has another technique because I don't see a way that he saw that Gamma Knife didn't even beat Doflamingo, and then now you come into a Yonko Kaido with that's your best technique, like that's it. Gamma Knife, like it's cool, it's strong as heck, it's really strong, but that's not gonna kill him, right? Honestly, Killer, I don't need to see more from him, but Killer, I feel like he has to do more to impress because we know that Luffy's gonna be nice, right? We know Zoro has Enma. That's enough like portrayal, right? We saw what Enma did to Kaido. Obviously, he's a better swordsman than Zoro, probably, but it's still the same blade. We know Law's ability, no matter how strong or weak you think Law is, his ability is going to be very useful in battle. We've already seen him use Room Shambles a couple times to save Luffy and Zoro and help them in the battle. And Kid, we haven't seen a lot from him, but the machinery, it's a lot. It's like he has like a freaking half Megazord type thing. But with Killer, he just has the little sight, so we got to see what more he has to offer. So a complaint that people had was that they felt like they didn't want Big Mom to be a sidekick because we knew that this is kind of like Kaido's arc, right? But they didn't want it to be where Big Mom is kind of taking orders from Kaido, and I think they're doing it really well because Big Mom is, I think, has taken more. I'm not gonna say slander, but she's had more goofy moments than other top tiers have had in the series, and that's made her look to the audience in a worse light than she, in my opinion, than she actually is. So her Loki saving Kaido like two times, yeah, like saving Kaido two times. That's tough because I think Big Mom, in my opinion, I have Big Mom over Kaido. But the thing is, whether you think Kaido is stronger or not, the point is Big Mom is at worst around Kaido's level. So I don't know. This is interesting. I still don't know if I think that they can beat one Yonko amongst the four. But looking at how they're pressing Kaido out, like if it were just Luffy, Zoro, Kid, Killer, and Law versus Kaido, I'm very tempted to give it to them now. Like I'm pretty certain they could take that dub. But obviously Big Mom is a big thorn in the side of that plan or whatever. So it's interesting because I don't know if there's more people that will join the rooftop, but we'll see how that goes. Let me know what you guys think down below. But I'm out, so peace.